40 years ago today, millions gathered in front of TV sets and around radios to listen to an unprecedented address by an American president. It was August 8, 1974, and Richard Milhous Nixon was calling it quits. His dishonesty and his dirty tricks had caught up with him. The Watergate scandal was Nixon's undoing, and as Eric Sorensen reports, it sent seismic shockwaves through American politics.
To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body.
That was one statement made 40 years ago tonight that no one disputed.
I'm not a quitter.
From his days campaigning to be vice president onward, Richard Nixon always fought to be on top.
Congratulations to Senator Kennedy for...
He lost the presidency to a more telegenic opponent, but came back to win it 8 years later. He brought the Vietnam War to an end and gave relations with China a beginning.
I welcome this kind of examination.
But his presidency was undone by a minor burglary at a hotel called Watergate. The burglars, intending to bug Democratic headquarters, had been hired by officials working on Nixon's re-election. Nixon's big mistake, not the burglary, but the cover-up. As a congressional investigation closed in and top officials resigned, Nixon hung on.
People have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Nixon might have survived as president, but for the tapes. Conversations he wanted recorded exposed him and kept investigators digging. In one, he asked aide Bob Haldeman to dispose of Watergate evidence.
This was the final blow, the final nail in the coffin.
Some tapes were only released this year. His Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, once assured Nixon Watergate would blow over.
You have saved this country, Mr. President. No one will know what Watergate means.
There's been a break-in at Democratic headquarters.
On the contrary, Watergate was a turning point for the country, shattering trust in government and, as portrayed in film, inspiring a new era in investigative journalism.
Did Deep Throat say that people's lives are in danger?
Yes.
What else did he say?
He said everyone is involved.
Everyone, which led to what might be the most shocking announcement ever made by a U.S. president.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
The next day, Richard Nixon left office, left Washington, and left a legacy that would haunt him for the rest of his days.
I let down the country.
40 years ago, the president who was not a quitter, quit. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.